Daily stock market update just after midday on the 19th of January. So I was asked by somebody, what does this Greenland thing mean for individual stocks? I don't like to gamble on news, but technically what would usually happen is banks and financials like Barclays, Lloyds, NatWest, Standard Chartered would tend to take a hit because there'd be worries about growth. Cyclicals, travel, consumer like Rolls-Royce, EasyJet, IAG, JD Sports would tend to take a hit because there's worries about growth and tariffs. So would energy and materials like BP, Shell, Rio Tinto, Anglo American. Now you can see as soon as I've mentioned some of those names, you're already thinking why they won't actually take a hit and instead should go up. And that's the problem with trying to gamble on news, because you might equally say, well, surely with all this uncertainty, the price of oil will go up, or commodities such as gold will go up, which they will, and it's probably the safest bet. So that's what concerns me. Again, you might say, well, wait a minute, what is less likely to move down? Unilever, AstraZeneca, Diageo, Relics, Experian. Why? Because they're counter-cyclical. You're always going to need drugs and washing up liquid and the like. But as I said to the client, not for me to be looking at speculating on individual news items. I'd rather have more resilient companies as a whole in my portfolio, some of which I'll discuss. Let's start off then with the UK markets first of all, before we go into war with America. FTSE 100, steady, defensives. Banks have now become defensives. Energy still carry the index. There's no urgency. There's a bit of fear. Remember this time last year, Taco, Trump always chickens out. That is the consideration at the moment, that the tantrum will sooner or later end. The investor mindset for the UK is very much, it is a portfolio anchor. It's not there for global growth. It is there more just for balance sheet comfort, not, as I say, blue sky growth. What about the US markets? The S&P 500, NASDAQ, Dow, the futures are pointing to a cautious open. This stock market has given this president a green light to do whatever the hell he wants. Okay, so what he does not impact the stock market. We got a scare about the big bad wolf last February, then we realized people are crying wolf with tariffs and all-time highs. That still is very much the market mind. So earnings momentum is what the market is very much focused on, not even interest rates at the moment. Index levels are holding, stock level volatility is elevated. So don't be surprised if good companies drop 20-odd%. It's really difficult to determine whether it's a good company having a temporary dip or a prolonged one. Now, the academic research on this suggests that if it's a hard news negative item, then it's likely to be a prolonged fall for that company after an earnings statement. And if it's soft news, it's by the dip time. What's the difference between hard and soft news? Hard news is our earnings are lower, our outlook is worse, and it looks like it's going to stay that way for a long time. That is what hard news is, something really negative. The whole business environment has changed. We're no longer keeping up. Everything else pretty much becomes soft news. Leadership reality, mega cap tech is still propping up the benchmarks because it's composed most of it, but leadership is narrowing and the market knows it. And so the market, to some extent, is fleeing to some of the companies around the big leaders. This is a prove it again market. Okay, last quarter's wins buys no forgiveness. This quarter, you got to prove it again with the earnings cycle. So do not think that you can rely on what you did before. It really is a case of what have you done for me lately with your earnings. Macro developments, consensus is unchanged. Davos is in the news. Soft landing remains the base case. Slower growth, easing inflation, no policy shock. It's what the UN report is saying, which I put on my Telegram channel to my audience. Have a look at campaignforamillion.com to get that. What's different now? The markets are no longer trading forecasts. They're trading verification because we've got earnings coming out. And that, I cannot reiterate enough, is all that matters. In fact, if you've got a resilient portfolio, you don't even care about earnings because it's a resilient portfolio which you're going to hold for the longer term. If you haven't and you're gambling on short-term moves and sectors and news, then it's squeaky bottom time. Risk balance, macro upside barely lifts the markets. Downside still lands with force. So that's the risk. There's more risk to the downside. UK, Bank of England is easing expectations of falling interest rates. We've factored them all in. It can only shock us now if it doesn't reduce them in due course. But for the moment, steady as she go is perfectly fine. It's the same with the US as well. Oil is still holding still despite Iran. Looks like Trump's decided, do I go to battle with Iran or Greenland? Let's go to Greenland instead. Big ball stuff right there. So for the stocks, it's great. Oil keeps calm. Gold, still near all-time highs. The contact I've got who's been getting it right for God knows how many years, he thinks it's going to go up to $10,000 an ounce. So he's thinking doubling from these prices. The way the market is at the moment, who could blame him? Crypto consolidating, nothing new to see here. Crypto is not your dollar switch that people thought it was. It is not the hedge in times of crisis. Gold is the hedge in times of crisis. Crypto isn't. It's a speculative thing, certainly for the moment. So if you're holding it, you better hold it for a long period of time because you're not going to get some big return again. Shout and scream all you want on Reddit, but ain't nobody listening. Major stocks and sector themes. US mega cap tech earnings week is intensifying scrutiny. We're all getting excited. It's the kind of thing we get excited about. Earning statements from companies. It's a sad life, but it's why they pay us the big bucks. Guidance on quality now matters more than headline beats. So what they say about the future matters more than whether or not they beat their revenue expectations. So if you see any numpties on social media saying, oh, we thought it would beat its revenue and it did, and its earnings, that's not the big story. The big story is one step beyond that, the next chess move after that. Which direction are they guiding in? That's what we're looking for. And if they're not guiding even higher and saying everything positive and singing the national anthem, then they're getting battered. UK financials and energy, these are still favored for dividends, cash flow visibility, and they have low expectations, so they're easier to beat those expectations, but you're not going to get walloping growth you wouldn't have thought over the long term. You might get lucky for a year. Max is the big, most bullish case on those. The January pattern is weak balance sheets are being exposed very early indeed. If I turn to the news wires, and whilst I do that, please like and follow this so more people view it. It's how the algorithm works. If they view it, I'll do more of these. If they don't view it, yeah, I'll go to bed. Buffett's pledged to give away 99% of his wealth. That's not going to move the market. What is moving the market? We've got some protests in Greenland. That's great for traders, hedge fund managers, brokers, because all that noise and excitement will get some retail clients buying and selling in a frenzy. That makes money for the markets. It doesn't make money for long-term quality investors such as ourselves. So my child's pension isn't changing anytime soon, just off the back of what's going on over there. And I don't try and second guess Trump's mind in any. I don't even think Melania tries to second guess his mind. She tells him what it's going to be and he does it. Gold and silver surge to fresh highs. That doesn't look like it's going to stop. All the news items always seem to give reason to be buying more gold. Certainly JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are saying keep buying gold to their wealthiest clients. So that's going in one direction. Super microcomputers hit up 10%. It's volatile. But if you hold it, it's volatile. You can live with it. Micron, I've got. It's been skyrocketing. It was up another 7%. So if I look at the big names, and it's one we continue holding, would we buy into this kind of strength? Well, for the long term, yes. But for a trade, you better not try and trade. You're not skilled up for it. So don't get into that fight, okay? What you're better off doing is working out whether or not you want it for 12 to 24 months, and can you withstand the volatility in between? If you can't, get off the big boy rides and watch others whilst you're sitting on the sidelines. So for me, I don't mind that volatility with Micron. I don't even want it with Tesla though. Okay, so there's your negatives. Everything else, all eyes on earnings. Like I said, and here's the summary. UK defensive, yield-led, dependable. US firm indices, all-time highs, narrowing leadership, as we know. Hopefully that'll broaden out. Nothing too big to worry about. Rates are supportive, but they're sidelined. They're not important at the moment. Gold is strong for people who are quietly cautious, likely to keep going. Oil is range-bound, fine. Crypto is consolidating. Institutional money going in a way, crypto doesn't matter. Like I said, if you'd like more of these, please like, follow, and share so more people view them, because that's how it happens. The algorithm will pick up on your engagement. If you engage with it through a comment or a like or a subscribe, it will send it to more people. If it sends it to more people, I'll do more of them. If it doesn't, hey, you and I are both happy. You just saved yourself 10 minutes where you could have been looking out of the window, and I've just saved myself 10 minutes where I could have been looking at you looking out of the window. Thank you all very much.